May I say one thing to you? As I said a little while earlier, I don't care whether it's Congress, BJP, CPM, CPI, Aam Aadmi Party, BSP, SP or any party. But I don't think I am going to let the political parties off the hook simply by saying let's not politicize it. Because I'll give you one reason why I don't want to do it. And I want either Nalin or Tehseen to answer me directly. Because there is something called the Model Floodplain Zoning Bill circulated to states in 1975. It has not been implemented yet. Answer me tonight. This bill seeks to replace dwellings in low-lying areas by parks and playgrounds, and so far only 2 state governments of Rajasthan and Manipur have enacted suitable legislation in this regard. I am going to ask these questions tonight. Why do you think people will not ask you the questions? Because Tehseen and Nalin, the reason why Indian citizens are helpless is because of official lethargy, because of politicking and pathetic systems in place, all of which the political class must take responsibility for. Nalin and Tehseen, would you like to respond to that? I can give more examples if you wish.
Whom would you like?
Either, why don't you start?
I don't mind, Mr. Goswami.
Please.
I think that's an important point you've raised. And certainly there's some merit to it also. The fact of the matter is that at the end of the day, of course, politicians have an accountability. They are every 5 years answerable. But that does not remove the accountability also from a permanent structure, which is bureaucracy. There's a lot more.
You want to shift it to the bureaucracy?
I'm certainly not. I said...
That's very convenient,
not at all, Mr. Goswami. You've made an assessment. It's not. I'm just simply saying, like the bill you've picked up, there must be many other such things. As there are norms for everything, the norms have been made. You have experts on your panel, I'm sure.
What norms?
No, on everything there's a norm.
What norms? The worst flood in 100 years happened in Kurnool in Andhra Pradesh in 2009. Now let me tell you what happened there. It's a Congress-run state. You know, first of all, I want to tell you with the greatest of humility, I don't get confused with all this official garble of norms and, you know, proposals and committees and things like that. And I think people have seen through this. I'll give you a straight example. Let Tehseen answer that.
No, but just...
No, because first of all, these norms, place, rules, rule book, committees, they don't impress the people anymore. What happened in Kurnool was this. The district administration ignored 2 warnings, handed it over to it by the Central Water Commission on the same day. And you know what the result was? 20 lakh people in Kurnool and Mehboob districts were affected. More than 50 people died, thousands were displaced. Why? Because 2 warnings were handed over and not acted for. And I suspect, Mr. Poonawalla, that you will agree that somewhere the political class represented by people like you feel, what's the big deal if 50 people die? Thousands are homeless. These kind of things, happen. Well, if you object to it, then tell me why it happens.
I'm sorry.
Then tell me why it happens.
I am sorry, you cannot say that. That is wrong. You cannot say that.
Mr. Poonawalla, first of all, I want to tell you one thing.
First of all,
Mr. Poonawalla,
no politician, one second.
Mr. Poonawalla, don't this righteous indignation is not the answer.
No politician in this country, irrespective of any political party, will say it's all right if even one life is lost. And I think Nalin will back me up on this.
I'll tell you
every politician goes to a test every 5 years. The will of the people is represented to the political class. Please do not come up with fantasies that politicians say that it's all right if a few people die. I am sorry, that is a very,
you know, if you look at the mafia, if you look at the contractors, no, I would like to say something.
Your sister concerns, Mr. Goswami, have been criticizing the government, whether it's the BJP or the Congress government, criticizing governments for going slow on environment clearances. At that point, you all give the example of China. At that point, you all talk about 8% and 9% Chinese growth.
Mr. Poonawalla, first of all, 1 second, please. Let's calm down. The point is this. The point is this. Okay, suppose I take your and Mr. Nalin Kohli's righteous indignation.
Nobody says
allow me, please. I say today, I take your righteous indignation at face value. And I say that, yes, Mr. Poonawalla and Mr. Nalin Kohli, you are right. And everybody else who thinks political class does not care is wrong. I still want to know that SOS fax messages were sent in before 2008 by engineers at the Kosi Dam, warning there's going to be an impending disaster. They fax after fax piled up in Patna on every bureaucrat's desk, politician's desk, nothing happened. 1. Now let me tell you the second thing. There is this Ganga Flood Control Commission. Okay? Now you care a lot, right? So you tell me, This board is empowered to devise and supervise flood control measures in the Ganga basin and its 23 sub-basins. I am told, and I am horrified, that it met after 11 years. It met after 11 years in 2011. And there is a person who's chairman of this board who was asked, there were numerous floods. He was asked, why are we not meeting? He said, there was nothing important to call a meeting of the full board. I want to ask you, who pays your salary? To the people who run these boards? Are they cosmetic? Yes. So that some bureaucrat somewhere gets a bungalow and a subsidized car? Answer me. Either of you answer me on this.
No, I'll make it absolutely
clear.
Yes, please.
And no indignation was not there.
No, there's no indignation here, Mr. Goswami. I'm saying it absolutely. There has to be accountability in the system for everyone, and politicians included. Started with the politicians if you want. There is no issue about it. And there is no here righteous indignation either. The fact of the matter is that I've just pointed out in the beginning, yes, we are accountable as politicians and we do go to the people with this, but I'm saying everyone has to be accountable for the job they do. Really? It's not about shifting the blame. And if this is not callousness, it's happening every day. It's happening. It's not a question of BJP.
The problem is that you all that happens is finger pointing.
No, it's not.
After the disaster,
not pointing fingers.
After the disaster, what happens is finger pointing. What happened after Kosi floods in 2008? Nitish Kumar passed the buck to Lalu and said he have not done enough to bank it. What happened in Punjab in 2010? So Shiromani Akali Dal. They blamed it on the Haryana government and they said this is propaganda. Congress, Akali Dal government at war. 22 people died, 33 people died. Nothing matters. The political war matters. I want to go to Rajesh Kalra. Rajesh Kalra, just tell me, give me a sense today. Hear the voice of the people. You see, Rajesh Kalra, tell me today. You are a person who blogs. You are on the internet. You are in touch with the way people think. Tell me, how are people thinking?
And are politicians not in touch with the people?
1 second, please.
Are they not in touch with the people? Just
politicians, Mr. Poonawalla,
by your logic, are they not in touch with the people?
Mr. Poonawalla, thank you for attempting to take on the role of the interviewer. No, but I would answer in response to your substantially rhetorical question that we wish politicians were a little bit more in touch with the people and the way people think. But let's get Rajesh Kalra's sense on how people are thinking about this. Mr. Kalra,
Arnab,
how are people thinking about
what's happening is, I think our politicians still live in the world which was, say, 30 years old. They have no idea how people are looking at everything now. The pace at which they get exposed these days has been obvious in the series of things which have happened. But the worry that we have is, I don't think they are learning anything from this. For example, I don't understand this whole tamasha of having aerial surveys where the Prime Minister and the UPA chairman and today the BJP president and Nishank who you were talking to, they all go and look at it, from a distance, 5,000 feet up in the air. Poor visibility, you can only see cloud and a meandering river flowing underneath.
This is rhetorical.
What the hell is happening?
Why is it
can't you actually let that chopper be used for rescue operations?
Precious resources.
The Prime Minister of the country, the President of the leading party or leading opposition does not have to see if the disaster management is going correctly. They do not have to see the villages.
No, I am not saying he does not have to see. Please understand.
Which today of the principal ruling party going and surveying the wreckage is symbolism. And if they don't do it, then the
I'm sure Mr. Poonawalla, it's not a dictatorship yet.
No, that the Prime Minister of the opposition is not even concerned. So either way, the politician loses and internet gurus are the ones who are in touch with people.
Mr. Poonawalla, go back to the substantial point. Let Rajesh Kalra complete. Okay, what's Shazia?
Kalra finish. Because he's making a fine point. Mr. Kalra should finish.
Let Mr. Kalra finish, yeah.
No. See, what I'm saying is, if really these guys were above petty politicking which they are so used to, if they really wanted to send out a message to the people, why couldn't the Prime Minister, the leader of the opposition and anybody else who really mattered, why couldn't they go in a single chopper and say, okay, this is what we see, let's sit together and make sure that the place is taken care of, people are looked after well, because the kind of things, No, let me say something. Arnab, I did my mountaineering training from Nehru Institute of Mountaineering in Uttarakhand. I know that area like the back of my palm. I have gone there so many times for trekking and for cycling. And I can tell you from a helicopter, you can see nothing. From 100 steps above where I am trekking, if I look down, I really do not know what is happening there. It is that big. You only need foot soldiers who can get you the right kind of information and then pass it on to the rescue teams who will come and do the work. to have these 10,000 feet flying up in the air, these are nothing but photo opportunities, and they're completely, they're ridiculous. These are the things which disgust the common man, and they have started seeing through it now.
And unfortunately, they take the taxpayers' money. You know, there is a solidity to that point.
It's our money.
And now let me make another point. My information tells me, Shazia, that the greatest disaster in India are the disaster management authorities in various state governments. And I had a representative yesterday from the National Disaster Management Authority.